Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. I'm doc.PEACE here, and today we have a special guest here with us today for Golden Sessions. I'm going to dive right on in and introduce our incredible guest today, who's who's a really dear friend of mine who I had the pleasure of connecting with actually in person about over a year ago. So, this incredible guest today is a worthiness coach. She's a speaker, a joy spreader, and podcast host of the Worthiness Mindset Podcast. And I invited her to share with us today 5 powerful ways to step into your worthiness as a wealth magnet. I know a lot of us here are leveling up. We are getting it going in our business creation and creating and living the dream life that we've always wanted. And so Golden Sessions is a time for us to get empowered with confidence to continue making those forward steps intentionally. And I know that with each step forward, there's some roadblocks that happen here. There's some limiting beliefs that come up. And so I'm really excited for Jillie Johnston to come and share with us today ways in which we can address those limiting beliefs, specifically around welcoming monetary gains and and really welcoming this energy exchange, specifically when it comes to this money mindset. And so, without further ado, welcome, Jillie.
Oh my goodness, Peace. I'm so excited to be here with you and so excited to be here with everyone that is watching currently and watching the replay. So thank you so much for inviting me and trusting me with your amazing audience and trusting me in your light and your presence. So I
Ooh,
am just so grateful.
you are so very welcome, Jillie. I am going to just make sure that we are indeed live and actually check to see who's here with us. So if you're joining us live, go ahead and comment hashtag live. And if you happen to be watching the replay later on, comment hashtag replay. It's always fun to see who's here with us live and who's watching the replay later on. I do see one viewer, so let us know who you are, and also where you're joining us from. It's always cool to connect with people from all over the world. So please feel welcome to also drop your questions as we go. Any questions or comments that we have, let me know. Let us know. We can see your comments and address them. So without further ado, I'm going to give you the stage, Jillie. I'm going to hop off. And I know you have an awesome presentation for us as well. So really excited.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm so excited. So I want this to be interactive. So whether you are watching the live or watching the replay, feel free to drop in the comments. And if you want to tag me in it to make sure that I see it and you want to get coaching and get some extra support, I'm here for it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm here for, and to serve all of you and to be a part of this amazing container. So just know that that is available to you. Please do it. I want this to be interactive because it brings me energy.
Yes.
So
Yes. Okay. Let's go.
let's
Let's get it
go.
going.
Yeah. So I know. So just welcome on. And just like P said, that I am a worthiness coach. And I help people see and cultivate their sense of self-worth to create a life that sets their soul on fire. And so right today we're going to be talking about wealth. And this is such a special topic for me because I have grown so much around money and my limiting beliefs. And it's been one of the things that I have worked hardest at in my business. And so I wanted to give a little bit of perspective because 4 years ago, my life looked very different than what it looks like now. 4 years ago, I was actually going back to school because I wanted to go to med school. And so I was living off of student loans. I hadn't gone to the doctor in 3 years because I couldn't afford health insurance. I hadn't gone to the dentist in 3 years because I couldn't afford to go to the dentist and get those routine checkups. I had come back from traveling abroad and starting a nonprofit that I had taken all of my money saved up in order to give to the community, because everything that we did for our nonprofit, everything went to the community. And so I was very much in this: good people don't make money. Good people can't make money. Good people don't take money from others, right? It's taking instead of giving life to everyone around. And so that was 4 years ago. In the grand scheme of life, that was no time ago. And so I've worked so hard on looking at myself in the mirror and realizing back then, I was like, you want to serve people. You want to teach people how to love themselves. You want to teach people how to take care of themselves and prioritize themselves. And yet you're not willing to charge your services to take care of yourself. So I couldn't even take care of my own basic needs, and yet I was being, I was out of integrity of my message, because I was too afraid to charge my worth and see my worth. And so that prevented me from being able to care for myself and do my work in the world. And so this idea of money is so powerful because when good people make a lot of money, we do great things in the world, from donating, from starting organizations, from sponsorships to making changes in people's lives. And so I want to get money in the hands of conscious people, because that is when our world changes. That is when our legacy is left. That's when our world gets to make the biggest difference. And so that's what I want to talk about and give to you today, is getting the money in the hands of conscious people and becoming wealth magnets, not from a place of greed or a place of power, but from a place of worthiness, a place of desire, a place of fun, a place of impact, so that you can take your dream and let it be a ripple effect outside of you. And so fast forward 4 years now, I'm consistently making like 10 to 15K months. Um, I'm serving dozens of people. I have served hundreds of people in the past couple of years. I live in a van and I'm traveling around the country, and Peace talks a lot about how we can have time and location freedom. I've created that exact thing for myself before the pandemic. Um, and so I'm living a life that I am in awe of every day, while creating wealth, while breaking generational cycles and generational trauma around wealth, in order to create a different future for myself and my family and everyone else that decides that they want this for themselves too. And so I have, like, this idea, right, is more than wealth. Like I said, it's about our innate sense of worthiness, our inherent sense of worthiness, right? That idea of being enough. And when we realize that we're enough as we are, that we no longer have to prove ourselves, but can sit in our value, sit in ourselves, in our enoughness, sit in our value, and in our innate sense of worthiness, that's when our real power comes out. That's when we can really have confidence and trust within ourselves, unlike ever before. And so, whether it is creating wealth, right? I help my clients feel that they're enough in their life, right? Actually see and celebrate the things that they've created, because my clients have created amazing lives. Just don't give themselves time and space to create, to see and celebrate and acknowledge themselves. Speaking their truth, right? Because when you speak your truth, you become a magnet. You are magnetic to a matching vibration. Asking for what they want and what they need, right? Getting promotions, getting raises, creating businesses, making offers, raising prices, right? All of these things come down to what we believe that we are worthy of. I help people go from, like, recovering from lifelong eating disorders, right? And disordered eating habits, to creating healthy habits that love and honor themselves. And all of these things, right? How we do one thing is how we do everything. So when we heal all of these things, or when we heal one area of our life, it bleeds and radiates into every other area of our life, right? And so this is so important as we are talking about wealth, because, like I said, right, how we do one thing is how we do everything. So if we are holding ourselves back and having limiting beliefs around ourselves and what we believe we are worthy of, let's say in love, right, or let's say in health, or let's say in wealth, right, it's going to impact the other stuff. So today we will be focusing on wealth, but I want to bring that into your consciousness, because it's time to dive deep and to heal in order to truly set yourself free. So um, I want this to be interactive. So please comment, right? Whether you're live or on the replay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can write down questions for yourself, as I go through and as we talk about it, so that you have it for yourself, because I want you to take this and implement it in your life. That is why that's why I created this. That's why I talk about it, is so that you can take this and implement it and run with it and change your life. Because here's another thing that I want to say real quick. this isn't just about your life right now. It is going to impact your life right now, but it is more than that. It's going to impact your life for the rest of your life. When you do this work, when you heal money beliefs, when you heal your worthiness beliefs, which is the quality of being good enough, right? We each have the I'm not blank enough story. When we heal that, we change every moment from that point on for the rest of our lives. And sometimes we forget how amazing and important that is. That sometimes we get so caught up in right now that we don't realize that the work that we're doing right now is changing our life 20 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, and the generations that follow. That is how important this work is. So, welcome. Let's dive in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see here. Oh, share. Let's see. Present. Okay. So, what I want you to take away from, all right, today is the old beliefs that are holding you back from creating wealth and abundance in your life. So sometimes the word money can be triggering. So I want you to try on wealth and abundance and see how that feels as we kind of dissipate the old stories. So we're going to identify what old beliefs are holding you back, what you want to create. All right. So what do you want your relationship to be around money? What do you want to create in your life around wealth and around abundance? How do you want to see yourself? How do you want to see your life? How do you want to be in relationship with these things? All right. How to embody and feel abundance and wealth, even if you don't see it in your life right now or see it in the way that you want to see it. And then what it means to feel worthy of it. Right. Because here's the thing, we can attract and manifest and create anything we want in life. But unless we feel worthy of it, we will self-sabotage, we will push it away because we don't actually have the capacity to have. So I will see this in a lot of times when people bring money into their life and then all of a sudden it's gone because they don't have the capacity to have it, right? They're used to living on just enough or not enough, that is their relationship with money. So they'll attract a big chunk of money, spend it, and it's gone. And then they're like, wait a second, how did I do that? How did I create it? And then get stuck in this place because they're coming from the place of lack and scarcity. So we have to feel worthy of it. And then find it in your life already. And this is one of the most powerful things. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but we'll talk about it in just a few minutes. Okay. So these are the 5 steps. So we talked about steps, 5 actionable ways to become a wealth magnet, right? So 1, we have to identify the beliefs. Okay. Identify the beliefs that are holding us back from creating it. 2, what do you want? 3, embody it. 4, feel worthy of it. 5, find evidence of possibility everywhere. All right. And then 6, bonus, expect miracles. You can expect money to come into your life when you've set an energetic minimum of what you want in your life and what your standards are and what your vibration is and what your frequency is, that you get to say that this is the expectation I have in my life and now I'm open to receiving it, right? Which I actually didn't talk about receiving because I could do an entire months long course on this and it still not be enough. So we'll just have to start here today. So things I want you to know about wealth and money, and I hope you're taking notes. I want you to write it down. Okay. Because we need to start debunking these things about wealth and money. 1, money gets to be what you decide that it is. Okay. So money doesn't actually have a value, right? It's the value that we give it. Money doesn't have a meaning except for the meaning that we give it. And so when we realize that money gets to be what we decide it is, so money just is, it exists, it's there, it's a part of our society, right? But that's it. When we decide that, oh, money is, it doesn't have to have any more weight or meaning than that. It doesn't mean I'm a good person or bad person. It doesn't mean I'm enough or not enough. It doesn't mean that I am poor or wealthy, right? Money is. And when we can relate to it in that way, and when we get to decide that, oh, money is, and money is something that I want to be in a healthy, good, supportive relationship with. All right. The second thing is you get to decide what you charge. So whether you are a speaker or you're a coach or you're a, business owner of whatever, so many times we think that we have to like earn our way there, right? We're the bottom of the totem pole and that we have to work our way up in order to charge a certain thing, or what is everyone else in the industry charging? No, you get to decide that. You get to decide what you charge. And it comes back to what you're thinking in here about your own value and what you believe your own value to be, what you believe your worth to be, that is going to dictate what you charge. It's nothing outside of yourself. The only thing that has to change, because certifications, right, degrees, anything external, unless you're like a doctor or a lawyer, right, that doesn't get to dictate what you charge. Your belief in yourself and the value you believe that you bring is dictating it. So the other thing is doubt your doubts. So if we doubted our limiting beliefs and our not enough stories as much as we doubted our value and our confidence and what we bring to the world, I really think that our world and we would be in a much different place. And so whose rule are you living by? And that's what I want you to ask yourself. I want you to start questioning your mind and just say, okay, so I'm feeling like I have to do more. I'm feeling like I have to show up more. I'm feeling like I have to offer more. Okay, why? Is it true? Whose rule is it? Okay. Money gets to be fun, and it's a relationship, right? It's a relationship. So I want you to think of money in terms of a person, right? In terms of a partner. Let's just say partner. If you treated a partner how you treated money, would it stay? This is taking a good, long, hard look in the mirror. Okay. So would it stay? And if it wouldn't, if you're like, wow, actually, I'm not very kind and not very loving, I'm not very nurturing, and I'm not very supportive, and I'm not very appreciative, right? Then I want you to look at what would need to change in order to change that relationship. Okay. And then write this down, affirm it. Good people with a lot of money do great things in this world. And that's true. And I want you to find evidence of it. I know that as I've gotten money, I've gotten to help support girls going to school. Been able to help and support causes that I believe in, right? I had a friend that had an emergency and an accident this weekend, and I got to donate to his family, right? And I get to give scholarships and spend a certain amount of my income every month in giving back to the community and to the causes I believe in and anti-racism and everything that I stand for. So you get to do that too. When you know that you can charge never what you're worth, right? Because you're inherent, that worthiness is inherent, but charge something that honors you, you then get to give back. Once your needs are met, you then get to give back. So the next point, money doesn't determine your worth, and you'll never be able to charge your worth because your worth is inherent. And so what feels like it honors you? And then the last thing, all right, and then we'll get into the 5 steps, is money and wealth comes from your thinking. And we'll go into it more, but this is something that I teach a lot in my coaching. It comes from your thinking. So if you don't believe that you are worthy of money, you don't believe that someone will actually hire you, you don't believe someone will actually pay you your rate, you don't believe that someone will actually stay if you up your prices, right? Or if you ask for a raise or promotion, you don't actually believe that they'll do it, or you don't believe that you're worthy of it, right? You will never get it. So it all comes back down to what you believe you're worthy of and what you think about it. Okay. So as we're going through, remember, please ask questions, answer. If you want coaching, I'm here. This is what I'm an expert in. So take it, run with it. I'm here for it. Okay. So first we have to identify our beliefs, right? And so our beliefs, 95% of our life is created, our life, is 95% decided by our subconscious. So our conscious mind only makes up 5% of our life, right? So we have to dig into what are our beliefs? right? What are our subconscious beliefs? What was the programming that we got when we were little? What was modeled for us, right? What was said? What did I witness culturally? What was told about me, right? Whether it comes to race, class, gender, right? Where you came from and where you grew up. So, for example, right? Women couldn't even get a bank account by themselves without a husband until the 1960s, right? They couldn't even have a line of credit without a husband until the 1970s, right? They couldn't even go to college until well into like the 1900s, right? And that's for white women. And so women of color, it has a whole other thing. So we have to look at historically what was told about our gender, what was told about our race, what was told about our class, and understand that that's not as an excuse, but as a way to have compassion and understanding for ourselves of, wow, of course this is hard. Of course, this is me breaking generational cycles of what I thought was possible for me and what I thought was possible and what my mom thought was possible, my grandma thought was possible, right? Or my grandfather thought was possible, right? Because this isn't just for women, this is for everybody. And when we can really take a second to sit down and say, okay, when we say wealth or money, what beliefs come up in all of these ways from my upbringing, right? And so I want you to sit down and actually want you to write this out. What was modeled for me? What was said? What did I witness? Is there a discrepancy there? Right? Was it not talked about and completely avoided culturally, right? And then religion, because a lot of religions, right, you have to tithe a certain amount, right, or you don't want to make too much money, right, and that can be embedded too. So we have to identify these deeply ingrained beliefs and write them down, get them out, because just like I used to be a fitness instructor, so I would always say, write out what you're eating, because so many times you don't realize what you're eating, right? Well, if we look at our thoughts or food for the mind, and that our thinking creates our life, then we have to write down our thoughts in order to understand the results that we're getting in our life. Right? We have to write them down to bring them into our awareness, to move them from the subconscious to the conscious mind, and then work them through. All right? So I want you to take time to do this and then validate yourself, right? It's okay to think these things. The thoughts aren't bad, our feelings aren't bad. It's our judgment on the thoughts and the feelings that make something negative or positive, right? Just like I said, money isn't bad. It's our judgment on it that makes it good or bad, helpful or unhelpful, healthy or unhealthy, right? And so we have to identify this, okay? So we have to identify the beliefs. So please drop them in the comments, right? If you want coaching on these or say like, oh, wow, I realized this, please drop it in the comments so that we can go through this, because there'll be a lot of aha moments here. The next thing, right, is what type of relationship do you want with money? So we just identified all of the limiting beliefs that we have, all of the ways that we relate to money that has been ingrained and passed down to us. But what do we want? And it's important that we identify this, right? And we talk about this because so many times we don't define what we want. We just take the rules of what everyone else tells us and what has been modeled for us and what we thought was possible, right, for other people. And we put that on ourselves without actually intentionally and consciously going through and saying, what do I consciously want to create in my life around money? Right? So take away all limitations, right? Everything that was said, everything that was modeled for you, right? And if there was no such thing as bad when it came to money, what would you want? What would you want? Allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to write down everything uncensored. I want peace and I want ease and I want it to flow into my life continuously. I want there to be opportunity at every turn. I want there to be payments coming in. I want to be able to give without expectation. I want to be able to give regardless of who it is to, because that's what feels aligned for me. I want there to be overflow. There is overflow. There is abundance. There's more than enough. There's more than enough that I even know what to do with, so that I can do good in the world. I can invest in myself and my growth. I can give to my family. I can give to my community. I want there to be excess. I want there to be overflow. There is excess. There is overflow, right? I see that I am enough, not because of the money, but the money is a match of my energy. So understanding that I have power when it comes to money. I have power of attraction, right? So I want you to sit down and just allow yourself to write. And I want you to write it in present tense and think, what do I want to believe? How do I want to be in relationship with money? I want it to be supportive. I want it to be celebratory. I want it to be filled with gratitude. I want to say good morning to it and good night to it. I want to say, hello, dear friend. I am so happy that you're here, right? Stay as long as you want, right? You can come and you go as you please, but just, I know that you're always going to be there and I trust you. So how do you want to be in relationship with money? And then getting really clear on, what does it mean to you to be wealthy and abundant? What does it mean to you? And what do you want it to mean? And this is going to be a really important piece as we go on into some of the next steps. But deciding what it means to us to be wealthy and abundant, not on anyone else's standards, throw that measuring stick out the window, right? Throw that cultural and societal measuring stick out the window. Throw your friends and your business besties stick out the window, because I want you to go and find your own stick that represents you, that is your own measuring stick of what it means to you to be wealthy and abundant. All right? So we have to define what it means to us, so then we do have a measuring stick. And then we can understand what comes up next. Okay? So this next piece, right? When we know that we want to be in relationship, how we want to be in relationship with money, we then can visualize. We get to embody it. We get to feel it. Okay, this is a really important part. All right. So practicing this visualization, sitting in this feeling, right? It's not all in our mind. We go to our mind first because we have to understand it, because our mind creates our feelings, right? But then we have to drop into our body, because this is where our frequency comes from. This is where our energy comes from, right? This is where we attract from. So when we address our thinking and say, okay, this is how I want to feel. Oh, when I think that, like, money is in excess and overflow. It's constantly coming. It's constantly flowing through me and to me. It's for me. I get to give and I get to receive, right? There is no doubt. There's no lack of trust. It is built in trust and belief. It honors me. I feel completely honored by it and it by me, right? I get to give generously. And as you say these things, as you write them, I want you to imagine just payments coming in, consults coming in, right? Orders coming in, bookings coming in. You're getting notifications on your phone. You're getting emails. Your PayPal account, right, is the number that you want it to be. And just, how would that feel? Sit with that in your body. Visualize that every day, right? And doing this every day. So a practice that I do is I'll press snooze, right? I'm not one of those people that's against snoozes. I press snooze, and then during the time, not every morning, but a lot of mornings, during the time that I press snooze, I sit there, right? And I visualize and I feel it in my body, right? And I allow myself to experience it in my body as if it were here right now, as if it were coming to me right now, that I'm actually experiencing it in this moment, right? And that's how I start my day, from that place of excitement, from that place of awe, that place of gratitude. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. What's next? But this is a really, really important piece. We have to embody it. Because when we feel it, when we embody it, right, that is going to be where we take action from. That's going to be where we reach out to people, right? That's going to be where we email people, right? Or just go on living our life and interact with random strangers. There is opportunity and possibility everywhere. So I want you to spend time every day doing this. And it's okay if you only spend 2 minutes, and it's okay if you spend an hour. There is, no matter how little, the shifting in your vibration, the shifting in your energy is impactful. And so, and this is one of the reasons why we are thinking 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. 92% of them are the same. So if you're up doing the same thing every single day, you're having the same 60 to 80,000 thoughts every single day, of course your life is going to look the same, because nothing's changing. Right? If you want something to be different, you got to do something different. So if you, even just for a minute or 2 minutes, sit in this place of excitement, imagine and visualize these payments coming in. Imagine what it would be like to gift a generous donation, right? Or to hire someone that you've wanted to hire, or to buy a house, right? Or to invest something, right? Or to pay for someone's school, or whatever your thing is that lights you up. Imagine that. And that is where you're going to take action from. Okay, so we have to embody it. This is an essential piece of, if you want to call it an equation. Okay, the next piece, right, is we have to feel worthy of it. Okay, so as you wrote down, how do you want to feel? How do you want to be in relationship with it? Right, and then you're in this visualization. You're human. So you're going to have, yeah, but, right? We all do. That's normal. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? The negative feelings and the negative thoughts are not going to create more of it unless you don't address them, right? It's like that. I know that I talked to a lot of people about manifestation, like law of attraction, and they're like, yeah, Jillie, but what if, right? Like, I don't want to think bad thoughts. I don't want to like pay attention to them, because then I just create it, right? Because we are thoughts, and our thoughts create a reality. Okay, yes. And if we actually, right, that idea in the quote of whatever we resist persists, if we bring them to the forefront, we talk about them, we address them, we prove them wrong, we change our narrative around them, right? Then we're not suppressing anything. Because again, our subconscious is what is going to drive our life. So we have to address those things. And so those negative thoughts are constantly being pushed down and suppressed. That's what that's the energy in which it's going to come from. Okay. So what thoughts are coming up for you, right? What doubts are coming up for you? And then I want you to ask yourself, what else could be true? Right. So if you're thinking like, well, that's just not for my family, right? I'm just not the type of person that gets to make money. She can, but I can't, right? No one's ever going to see my worth. No one's ever going to pay me that much. You don't know my life. I want you to ask yourself, okay, what else could be true? Is this thought serving me? And what else could be true? And I want you to write down as many thoughts as you can until you feel a shift in your state of being. Okay, until you feel a shift in your state of being. All right. And so I talked about earlier on, right, that our uh, worthiness, right? Worthiness, the definition of worthiness is the quality of being good enough. We all have the I'm not blank enough story. I'm not good enough story, right? So every person that I've talked to yet, doesn't mean that every person out there, but every person that I've talked to yet has always said like, well, yeah, but I have to do more. I have to be more, right? I have to achieve more. I have to get the next certification, right? It's always this external thing, and then I'll be enough. When I reach this income goal, then I can relax, right? Then I can up my prices. When I fill my, when I fill my calendar, I fill my roster, then I can charge more, right? Well, that's not true. You're enough when you start seeing yourself as enough right now. And so I want you to look at your life. I want you to look at yourself, right? I want you to look at your bank account. And I want you to say, okay, how am I enough right now? How am I sufficient? How is my bank account sufficient? How is my life sufficient right now? Okay, because when you see how am I and my life sufficient and enough right now, that again is going to be the energy in which you create more from. We talk about the law of attraction. It's not, we don't get what we want, we get what we are, right? So if you want more abundance, you need to see and become abundant. You need to see yourself as abundant. If you want wealth, you have to see yourself as wealthy. You have to become wealth, right? And then you get to create more of it. This is so important, right? And not from a fear-based place, right? Because we have to address those thoughts. We have to address the negative thinking. We have to address the limiting beliefs, right? You're human. That is part of it. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. We have to address these things so that we can move past it and move through it. It is essential, right? But we have to see ourselves, prove it wrong by seeing ourselves as enough and sufficient right now. Okay, so then the next piece is, then I want you to find evidence to support this, how you are enough, how you are sufficient right now. And I'll give you an example of this. So my very first coach that I ever hired, let's say it was probably like, yeah, it was 2015. And at the time, I was working as a fitness instructor. I was barely making ends meet. I wanted to move. I was living at home with my mom. I was just like, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. Okay. And it was so stressful. And he was like, okay, what does being abundant mean to you? Right. And I was like, well, I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to buy gifts for the people that I love. I want to be able to pay off my debt. Right. And I want to be able to save money. It's like, okay, how are you doing each of those things right now? I was like, okay, well, I'm traveling literally every month to all these different, I'm going to New York every month. I'm buying gifts, usually at thrift stores, but that's also one of my values for people in my life for every birthday, every holiday. I am actually paying down my debt. I'm almost paying my credit card off, and I actually am saving. And so then I was like, oh my gosh, my mind is blown. I actually am abundant. Holy cow. And it changed everything, right? And so you have to see how right now you are abundant, right? I'm just going to go into the next step of find evidence of possibility everywhere. So how are you already wealthy and abundant? How are you already enough? Do this every single day. So along with embodying it and visualizing it and feeling it in your body, I also want you to find evidence of how this is true for you every single day. Okay? Life-changing. Absolutely life-changing. All right? So, in addition to that, I want you to inundate yourself with people who believe this too and who are examples, right? So I wrote, there's no such thing as competition. Everyone is showing you what is possible. If you feel a tinge of jealousy, right? Or a tinge of comparison, that's invitation for healing. That's invitation for you to see it differently, for you to see them as, oh, they have something that I want. And they're an example that it is possible. They did it, so can I, right? And make them as relatable instead of going to the place of, yeah, but they have it easier. That's not helping anyone, right? That may or may not be true. You don't know them. Even if you know them personally, you don't know what goes on in here. And so is it serving you? I'm less concerned if it's true, and I'm more concerned if it's serving you. And if it isn't, it's time to change it and see them as showing you what is possible. Your journey might look different on your way there. It might take longer, it might take shorter, whatever else. It doesn't mean anything about you, but they are an example of what's possible. Okay. So inundate yourself with it, right? Listen to podcasts, read books, listen to music, right? Talk to people, have as many conversations as you possibly can have. Because if we go back to this idea of we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day and 92% of them are the same, the more that we bring it into our atmosphere and the more we bring it into our life, the more we inundate ourselves with it, the more those 60 to 80,000 thoughts are going to change. And that 92% is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, meaning that it is inevitable that change is happening. It is inevitable that your success is on its way. Your success is inevitable. Your change is inevitable. Your abundance is inevitable. Your impact is inevitable. And if you knew it, if you came from your life as that, how would you change things? What would you do differently? Okay. And so I want you to think of what's a symbol, right? Or a message that you can put in your life that can remind you that this is true. And that can be anything, right? I look at the trees, like as it's springtime and things are budding, and I look at like grass that's growing from asphalt, and I'm just like, that is incredible. That is amazing. That is a miracle. I don't know how it does it, but it does it with persistence and consistency. Over time, it doesn't force anything. It just is, and it blooms and it sprouts because it is, and it is alive and it is worthy. And I am the same. I am made from it, right? So I use nature a lot for my own personal example. Okay. So I want you to, that was the fifth step. So I want you to just think like, what are you going to take with you today? I gave you a ton of information and I went by fast because I was trying to get through everything and respect your time. But I want you to really sit with this, take this in, watch this again, write notes, right? Write down how you want to be in relationship with money, how you want to feel about it, find evidence everywhere, and do this every single day and see how your life changes, right? Because it's not about doing more. You don't have to do more to make more. Okay. And that's the thing is we have to change the meaning of the value of time equals money. And we have to change it to value equals money. And when we can get really clear and really certain and really confident in our value and what we bring to the world in whatever capacity that looks like for you, that is a game changer. That is when wealth happens to you, right? Because you see your value, you stop proving yourself. You just show up as you are, seeing yourself in that light, that you live and breathe and exist in this way, and it is magnetic. And that is so incredibly powerful. All right. So it's not about doing more, it's coming from a place of, hey, what I have to offer is changing people's lives. What I have to offer, they can't live without. They need this. People are waiting on me to show up, right? Whether it is a product, a service, speaking, right? At your job, you play an essential role. And when you see your value, right, there's a confidence that exudes from that. So as we close, all right, how to stay in touch. All right. So on Instagram, it's Jillie Johnston Coaching. I talk about all things worthiness, right? And so money does play a really big part in it because so many people have so many wounds and so many limiting beliefs around money. So that is something that I talk about, right? And it's just being in your enoughness. What if you felt enough in your life in every way? What if you let go of feeling guilty? What if you let go of the anxiety of constantly having to show up and prove yourself, but you felt enough in your own skin? What would that do to change your life? Hint, everything. Everything. My email is Jillie@JillieJohnston.com. My website is JillieJohnston.com. If anyone is interested in working together or diving into this or having any more questions about anything that I talked about today, please reach out. And I do offer a free money meditation. So please go ahead and email me or message me. And I can send that on over. Okay. And I do have a group program that is coming out next week called Rise Sister Rise. That is a 3-month program where, again, we're going to be talking about money and worthiness and everything in between. So, the last thing that I want to leave you with today, the message that I want to leave you with, besides everything that I already gave you, but just to like reiterate that you are enough. I'm going to take stop sharing for a second. That you are enough, that you don't have to do more, you don't have to be more, right? You don't have to wait until one day when this thing outside of yourself happens in order to see yourself in that light. That you are enough right now as you are unchanged. You are not broken, you don't need fixing. All right, you are worthy of seeing yourself in this light. You're worthy of abundance, you are worthy of wealth. You're worthy of creating a massive amount of income and a massive impact because that is your purpose, that is your desire, that is your state of being. And when you see yourself as that, like I said before, your success is inevitable. Wealth is inevitable. Impact is inevitable, right? And the life that you crave and that you desire that sets your soul on fire is inevitable. So that is all that I have for you today. But thank you so much for joining me. Please reach out with any questions. I'm just so grateful for this time.
Ooh, that was beautiful, Jillie. Woo! You were fire. I was taking notes. This was so great. So great. Thank you so much again for blessing us with your energy and your light. I actually have one quick question for you.
Please.
So these are such amazing exercises that you gave us to do continuously, right? To do this work continuously, right? Because we have generations of past limiting beliefs that we're working through. So it's going to be a process, correct? So
Yes.
what would be um, the go-to exercise that we can do in the moment?
Yes. Oh, I love that. Love that question. Okay, so I would say the go-to exercise to do in the moment is question yourself. Question the thought, right? So in the moment, if you're just like, no, I can't charge this, or what if they don't hire me, right? Like, what if I tell them my, rate or whatever else and they don't hire me, or what if, whatever that is, I want you to ask yourself, right? Where is this coming from? Is this true? And then I want you to look at yourself and like think to yourself, what else could be true that is going to empower me and serve me?
Okay, where is this coming from? Is this true? What else is true?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow, that's really good. So, 3 questions that we ask ourselves in that moment to snap ourselves out of it and get back on track with aligning with our abundance.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, where is this coming from? Is this true? What else is true?
What else could be true?
What else could be true?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Love it. Whew. Well, I'm going to check to make sure we are good with the questions. We had a few that were able to join in and pop in and share that they were getting value from what you were bringing us. So again, I want to thank you for your time and your energy and your light, Jillie. You're shining so bright, and I personally will be using these strategies and these exercises in the future to remind myself what I am capable of and the abundance that I'm letting flow towards me. So I appreciate you. And I know that you've been on this journey for a few years. It's not like a one and done type thing. Do the exercise once and you're done. No, it's a continuous process. So I appreciate you for sharing the process, the journey, so that we can begin this journey for ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me come and share and being part of my process and part of my journey. I'm so grateful.
You're so very welcome. I receive your gratitude. Okay, well, that concludes our session for today of Golden Sessions with doc.PEACE featuring Jillie Johnston. Again, if you're watching the replay later on, feel free to drop your questions, drop your comments, drop your the responses to these incredible prompts that were given by Jillie. Drop them below and even tag Jillie's name and myself to make sure that we see that and we can address that. So again, thank you again for joining us today. And next week, we have another incredible guest speaker who will be diving more into this money mindset, because this is a huge theme that I'm hearing regularly from my clients and those within my community, this idea that they're concerned with the money. Where is it going to come from? Am I worthy of accepting money from others? And so I'm so grateful that Jillie was able to get us going in that direction, and that attracting attracting the money that we so desire. And I love what you said about becoming that because of the law of attraction. So if we are owning who we are and the value that we have to bring, then because of this energy exchange, then we should be attracting that same value. So
Yes.
again, really excited about this incredible golden session and the ones to come. So again, make sure you join us Wednesdays, 12 p.m. Pacific time. And till then, keep shining. Bye.
Bye.